Sorry, when you say musician, you do that for a living?
Yep. You know, I wrote the theme song to The Big Bang Theory.
Like, are you in a band?
Yes, I'm in a band.
Okay.
We're called Barenaked Ladies.
Oh my god!
When I got to go out on stage, I was always excited about the challenge of winning people over and entertaining people.
The only thing I know how to play is what? Flute. Not a man's instrument, though.
I don't know, there's some pretty manly flute players. I think everyone who goes into a life in the performing arts is looking for positive feedback. Whether they say they are or whether they realize they are or not is another story.
What was your big break?
Like, you always think your first record is going to be your masterpiece.
You were on the road. How did you manage to keep your family intact?
And the band that I had been playing with broke up. And then the woman organizing the fundraiser called me a week before and she said, "You're still on for the fundraiser, right?"
A lot of people who have great ideas, but they don't want to share them with the world because they're afraid of rejection, ridicule, or whatever it may be.
Right. We got banned from playing at City Hall, you know, and they have something brilliant there, but they're afraid to finish it because then it'll be judged.
You guys got drunk one night and you're like, "Hey, we're naked. Let's be Barenaked Ladies."
Kids have all these tools to make really great sounding recordings now. Nobody needs to go into a studio and spend tens of thousands of dollars. You have permission to put this on YouTube.
There you go. Thank you very much.
Says the guy from Barenaked Ladies.
Refuel by DigiPower. Portable power on the go.
Money. You want to make it, save it, and preserve more of it.
Gearbest.com.
Gearbest.com. We are picking up Mr. Ed. You want to bring it in?
Hi.
I was gonna say you could just bring it in the back.
This stuff?
Yeah, no?
Yeah, sure.
Or
You mind if I sit in the
go
front?
for it. I should mind if you sit in the back. Treat me like a cabbie. Alright. Did you, were you here when the rain started pouring?
Yeah, I was walking around.
Cut you off guard, huh?
I actually knew it was coming.
Yeah, I knew it was coming too. Yeah. So you're in something called the Uber Experiment. What we're doing is we're shooting a pilot for a web series and a TV show in California. Essentially, think of it like a Shark Tank on wheels.
I see.
So just driving around Toronto, talking to fun people who may have big ideas, big business ideas, and who are passionate about things. So, what do you do, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm a musician.
Oh, I've had a musician. I've had a phonetic instructor. Is that the proper way?
Yeah?
Yeah. Are you one of those people that has an ear for music where you can listen to somebody play and then right away you just pick it up?
Usually.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's crazy.
Usually.
The only thing I know how to play is flute, and that's in high school.
My wife plays a little flute.
Yeah?
Yeah? Well, she did in high
Not a
school.
man's instrument, though.
I don't know, there's some pretty manly flute players.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're like saxophones. So what do you play?
Ron Burgundy's a flautist, man. From Anchorman.
He
Plays jazz flute.
Oh, he does. That's right.
Come on, that's manly.
Yes, doesn't get more manly than Rod. So what kind of instruments do you play?
I play most things. Play guitar, drums, bass, keys, everything.
Sorry, when you say musician, you do that for a living?
Yep.
So okay, so tell me. So I mean, like, what is it that like? Are you in a band? Do you...
Yes, I'm in a band.
Okay.
We're called Barenaked Ladies.
Chicken, you trying out the Chinese chicken? You have a drumstick and your brain stops sticking. It's been 1 week since you looked at me.
We're called Barenaked Ladies.
Oh my God!
It's better for you to turn right here. I don't know why that's telling you to go to Bayview. That's the long way.
It is you.
It is me.
Wow, very nice to meet you, sir.
Nice to meet you.
That is crazy. So you take Uber, huh?
Everywhere.
Everywhere, huh? So what happened to you guys? You guys are still playing?
Yeah. Been playing for 27 years, and that's something that people only in Canada say. People in the United States say, "Are you guys in town? That's
But
great."
you know why?
In Canada, they go, "Are you guys still playing?"
You know, I think it's because I don't know. I mean, a while ago, you guys were all over the place.
Yeah.
And now, for some reason,
You
I
know
don't
why?
I don't see you guys.
You know why? Small country. There's
Yeah.
a very small pie in Canada, and in the early 90s, we had a very big piece of it.
Yes, you did. Well, I mean, you're still there. You're still, popular. I mean, your songs are good. They're not popular like, Bieber, like marketed to
And we're
the
also
teeny bopper.
we're mid-40s now. Like we're not.
You still look young though. Just dye your hair a little, maybe be just like you were before.
I like being 44.
Yeah.
I got 3 kids.
Yeah.
And I'm in the middle of an American tour right now. 37 dates in America. I just have one night off at home.
So
I
let me
gotta
ask
play
you.
in
Let me
Charlotte
pick your brain about life-work balance. You were on the road. How did you manage to keep your family intact?
Well, I would give more of the credit to my wife, actually, because she was the one at home raising 3 kids while I was traveling all over the world in a rock band.
How long are you guys married?
21 years.
Oh, so she's been there from the beginning.
Yeah, since before the beginning.
That must have been tough on her.
Yeah, it was tough on both of us. Distance is hard, but you learn to deal with it.
How about your bandmates?
They're all great, It's been the same group of guys since the early 90s. So,
Are you guys focusing on releasing any new material?
we just put a new record out in June.
Okay.
We had a record out a couple years before. I wrote the theme song to The Big Bang Theory.
All started with a big bang.
Yeah.
So we still do lots of stuff,
Right.
but we're just not really
You know,
on the radar here
Right.
at home.
I don't think that really matters then.
It doesn't.
It doesn't. No.
We all every couple years
Speaker's
we have
corner,
a little,
right? Like that's how it
we
all
have a
started.
little crisis of conscience, and we're like,
Right.
oh, we got to work more at
Yeah.
home because people don't know what's going on. And then we go, well, there's more people in Michigan though than there are in Canada.
Yeah.
So
Have you branched out into doing other things?
I've done some television stuff as well. I did a TV show for 3 years on Rogers, and I still do lots of work for television. I hosted the Grammys show for Rogers this year, and so I do that stuff when I have time.
Yeah.
But I'm so busy with the band that most of the time when I'm off, I just kind of want to hang
Chillax.
out with my family.
Yeah. How old are your kids?
My daughter will be 20 this fall.
Oh, you
And
do
then
not
I
look
have-
like you have a 20-year-old.
20-year-old daughter, and then 2 boys, 15 and 12, who
Oh.
are soon to be 16 and 13.
Okay.
They come out on the road with me sometimes and perform with the band, and it's very fun.
I guess having a father who's a musician who can play all the instruments, you kind of got to follow that. I have no
Well,
choice.
they grew up on the side of the stage.
Yeah.
So they can walk out in front of 10,000. They just did in front of 10,000 people
Really?
in Chicago, and it doesn't faze them one bit. Like
Yeah.
they have no nervousness about performance.
When you first started, what was it like when you did get that attention on the stage? Were you nervous? I mean, was it overwhelming?
I've never been, for some reason, I've never been nervous about performing. It was always exciting for
Uh-huh.
me, and I always felt comfortable. Since I was a little kid, I wanted to be the center of attention.
No.
Okay. When I got to go out on stage, I was always excited about the challenge of winning people over and entertaining people. So I never felt nervous. I always felt like confident that I could entertain people.
You were never afraid of rejection, ever. You knew you could deliver.
I'm sure somewhere inside, I think everyone who goes into performance
Yeah.
has some sort of insecurity that they're trying to feed.
Yeah.
But I don't think I was aware of that at the time until I got much older.
Okay.
But I think everyone who goes into a life in the performing arts is looking for positive feedback. Whether they say they are or whether they realize they are
Yeah.
or not is another story.
Yeah. I hate rejection. I run a publishing company.
Yeah.
We find unknown artists around the world, and then we create books with them, and then we split the royalties.
Right.
I love the feeling of finding somebody who has the skill but doesn't know how good they are,
Right.
and you bring that out of them. I find that very fulfilling. A lot of people have great ideas, but they don't want to share them with the world because they're afraid of rejection, ridicule, or whatever it may be.
Right.
And
Some people are afraid to finish what they're working on because they don't want to let anybody down, or they don't they don't want to hear an opinion on it.
Yeah.
It's like, if it's unfinished, then it can't be judged.
Yes.
You know, and they have something brilliant there, but they're afraid to finish it because then it'll be judged. And I always say to young songwriters and performers, don't spend so much time on your first group of songs and making a record, because you're gonna grow out of it. Like, you always think your first record is gonna be your masterpiece, but in fact, it's the first couple songs you write, and they're not as good as the next couple songs you're gonna write. So I always encourage kids to like just keep writing, and you'll get better and better, and record, but don't spend a lot, like, you know, what you can do on a MacBook now is what a $100,000 home studio used to be 15 years ago.
Right.
You know? So kids have all these tools to make really great sounding recordings now. They should just do that. Nobody needs to go into a studio and spend tens of thousands of dollars recording what they're going to realize in 18 months are pretty shitty songs.
Is that how you feel about your stuff from back when, or do you still?
Well,
feel
no,
that it's
we
good?
were lucky because
not as a band. I'm saying when you first started, when you were, before you guys made it.
I'm glad I didn't put a lot of energy into the first handful of songs I wrote. Instead, we toured across the country 3 times, and we kept writing and kept performing, and we evolved and we became a totally different band.
What was your big break? Like, how did you guys get, like, was it Speaker's Corner? It wasn't Speaker's Corner, it was something else.
We got banned from playing at City Hall in 1990.
Okay.
And it became a national news story. It kind of ignited the debate on political correctness, and there was all this, like, does the band's name objectify women? Is it derogatory? And all this, and we were like, intelligent, left-leaning, socially conscious kids from Toronto.
Right.
And so it made the debate look ridiculous, but on the other hand, we didn't want to be on the opposite side of political correctness, because, like, I agree in not offending people accidentally. That said, I don't mind offending people if they're idiots.
Of course.
But our name was just meant to be fun and funny.
And who came up with the name? What was...
I did. We just...
You guys got drunk one night and you're like, hey, we're
No,
naked. Let's be Barenaked Ladies.
No, it just came to me. It was just a silly... I had a gig booked for a fundraiser for a food bank, actually. And the band that I had been playing with broke up. And then the woman organizing the fundraiser called me a week before, and she said, "You're still on for the fundraiser, right? We're really counting on you." And I didn't have a band, but I said, yes, still on. But the name of the band has changed to Barenaked Ladies.
And where's hers one?
And that was 27 years ago. It's the basketball name.
Okay.
My youngest is the basketball star.
You got a place in Hampton, Stu, in the States somewhere? No?
Just this.
Just this? Well, it was awesome meeting you.
Yeah, nice meeting you, man.
Do I have permission to put this on YouTube? Or?
Sure you do, yes.
Awesome.
You have permission to put this on YouTube.
There you go. Thank you very much.
Says the guy from Barenaked Ladies.
Awesome. Thanks again.
I got stuff in your trunk.
Oh, yes, you do. And here I was going to take it and sell it eBay. Thank you. That was unexpected. Oh, I felt so silly after he said he's from Barenaked Ladies. It goes to show that you can pick up anybody and anything can happen with the Uber experiment.
So there's 2 ways to get profitable in life, in business. Number 1, create so much revenue that you outrun your expenses.
It's not the information that you hold dear, it's the time.
Exactly. It's going to reduce you to tears. It's going to drop you to your knees.
How did you run the company so quickly and get such a massive following?
Even a good business today that has great money and great revenue, if they're not thinking of ways to become better in 5 years, they're going to become obsolete and they're going to fail.
I always know how to do something. If I don't, I'll just say yes and then I'll go Google it and there's my answer.
Absolutely. You can't fail. You have to keep going regardless of how hard it is. Blockbuster could have been Netflix if they had been innovating, if they had been thinking forward.
What was your worst obstacle that you've experienced in starting any of your businesses? Like the worst day ever?
The most painful things that I've learned was not knowing the answer.
I'm not really an Uber driver.
Well, when I was 30 years old, my wife Julie told me I was about to become a dad and I wanted to be wealthy.
Do you give your kids allowance or do they have to earn it?
By the time they figured out what we're doing and they replicated it, we're already going to be at 10 million. It's going to change the game around the world for authors.
Mr. Ken Dunn is changing the game. Yeah, it's pretty nice. I love it.
Money. You want to make it, save it, and preserve more of it. That's why you need Money.ca and Money Magazine to get all the valuable, actionable news that you want and need. Visit us now at Money.ca.
I catch my breath for a second there. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Right on.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I love it.
Who's taking the picture?
It's just recording. It's just recording.
I feel weird. Yeah, you'll still.
Everybody say 1 billion.
Everybody say money.
Yeah, that works.
I could tell you though, I've taken a group this small and changed it into convention centers of 15, 20,000.
Wow. Yep.
Right? I can do that with this group. You know, it's not how you get involved in the industry, it's who you get involved with.
That's pretty crazy.
Right on.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I love it.